Baby girl, you're so damn fine, though. Wanna know if I can hit it from behind, though. I'm sipping on you like some fine wine, though. When it's over, I press rewind, though.
What's going on, you guys? Steven from Airsoft Tech, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video. This time, we are going to be taking a look at this Lancer Tactical ARC, also known as the Lancer Tactical Advanced Recon Carbine. So really quickly, I just want to give a huge thanks to Lancer Tactical themselves because they were kind enough to go ahead and supply me with this gun. So without them, this video and future videos and the unboxing video would never have been possible. Before we go any further, I just want to remind you guys, if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button if you've never seen my face before, and also go ahead and click that bell icon so you guys can be notified when I do upload new videos. Guys, I would really appreciate both of those. Nevertheless, we are going to go ahead and review this Lancer Tactical ARC. So for the first half, I'm going to just be talking about the externals, giving you guys a close-up, just talking about everything. Then we'll talk about the internals a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and get into the shooting test. The timestamps for everything will be in the description. Anyways, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so to start everything off, let's go ahead and talk about all the different models that this gun comes in. So what you guys are currently looking at is the 14-inch all-black model. However, they have a two-toned model. So basically, let's go ahead and talk about the lengths first before we get into all the colors. So they first have a 10.5-inch model, which means it is much shorter than this one. This is the middle one, which is the 14-inch, and then they have a really long one bigger than this, which is 16 inches. And all of those come in black, as you see here, or in two-toned, which is like black and tan. Now, as for prices, let's go ahead and start with the smallest one, which is the 10.5-inch model. That will run you $325. This model right here, the 14, is $330, and then the biggest model, the 16-inch, will be $335. Now, if you guys are interested in purchasing this gun after you guys watch this video, I will leave a link in the description to basically all the sites that sell all the different models, all the different colors, different lengths, whatever. They will all be in the description. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into this review. So starting at the very front of the gun here, we have a orange flash hider. However, that's obviously not orange. That is a normal metal black flash hider. I went ahead and took off the one that came on the gun, and guys, that was an absolute pain. I legitimately had to go ahead and just like saw the thing off. I had to be really careful so I didn't cut the threadings, I didn't scratch the outer barrel. You just got to take your time. It honestly probably took me close to 30 minutes because I was taking my time. I don't want to mess anything up, but the end result, as you guys can see, it just looks so much cleaner. Anyways, though, moving down, we do have our full metal outer barrel, and then we get into the beautiful key mod rail system. So you have tons and tons of rail space to go ahead and mount anything you want. And as you guys can see, I went ahead and mounted a whole bunch of stuff on the gun. But yeah, so right out of the box, you get 3 rail segments to go ahead and attach anywhere. They come on the gun like this, all the way at the front, as well as this side, and then one on the bottom where this, vertical grip is on. But obviously, you can go ahead and take them out and then, put them anywhere you want on the key mod rail system itself. So it is nice though that they included 3 of them. So yeah, I didn't put anything on the sides of the gun. As you guys can see, they're just completely bare. You can put anything you want on it. I did go ahead and put the a pec box up on here, and you guys are probably like, Steven, why the hell did you do that? You should have put it on the sides, and isn't it blocking your sight? Actually, I couldn't believe it, but when you look through it, it looks perfect. There's a little bit of a line at the very bottom of the sight, but it's not that big of a deal. You can still see everything. But for the shooting test, I will go ahead and move this and put it to the side probably so you guys can get a nice reading when we do the chrono and all the tests or whatever. But that will be later on in the video. But as you guys can see up here as well, we have our front flip-up iron sight, which is made out of polymer. It is not metal. There you go. So yeah, that is your front iron sight. The middle piece right here, the part that you can actually adjust up and down, that little middle post or whatever, that is actually metal. But as I said, the entire sight itself is polymer. Also, one quick thing, let me flip that back up. As you guys can see, let me just switch around here. That button right there, you have to go ahead and push that in to go ahead and flip them down. And that goes for the front as well as the rear. Now, I don't think I mentioned this, but obviously the vertical foregrip, the pec box, the sight, the little camera thing, all of those, oh, and the flash hider, they all don't come with the gun. These are all mine. I just threw them on here to make the gun a little bit more, badass, and I think it looks fantastic. So yeah, overall though, you have tons and tons of rail space. And I don't think I talked about the top rail, but that goes the complete length of the gun. So as I said, you guys, tons and tons of rail space. Going down the rail system though, as you guys can see, that little sling point right there, that is actually a QD sling attachment point, and that's actually on both sides of the gun. So right there and right there, and then you have 2 more right here as well as the other side, and then you have more right on the stock itself. So you have a total of 6 different positions where you can go ahead and attach a sling. Moving on to the middle of the gun though, we have our upper and lower receiver. It is full metal. This entire gun, you guys, is full metal. But just take a look at some of these trades. Look at that low necks, oh, and everything. One thing I would like to point out about this gun that I don't see on too many M4s, including my KWA and whatnot, they're just, this thing is so freaking clean. The edges, the cuts, struts, everything is just so freaking nice. I just absolutely love it. And then you got a nice little Lancer Tactical logo itself. And then we got a whole bunch of buttons that I'll be talking about in a second because they have a whole bunch of ambidextrous features on this gun. Alright, so I guess we can start with the mag release. So the first one is just a standard M4 mag release, as you guys can see right there. It is a little bit square, so it's not like a standard, you know, M4 mag release. So I do like that design. It's a little bit different, but just go ahead. You can release your mag just like so, put the mag back in, and I love how easy it is to go ahead and put the magazine in the gun. Listen, beautiful. Oh my. And it sounds so crisp, and it's just so easy. Not to mention there's very little mag wobble. So yeah, standard M4 mag release, go ahead, flip it to the other side, and then you have your other mag release right here. And look at that, that thing is actually sticking out. And that's one thing though I don't like, not that it's sticking out, but look how much it kind of jiggles, just like so. So if you're running, you can kind of, you know, make this thing wobble back and forth, and you can hear that, but it's not a big deal. I'm just nitpicking. But yeah, so just push that, mag comes out. Anyways though, since we're on this side of the gun, here is actually a bolt release, and the bolt release is actually ambidextrous as well. So let me go ahead and flip the gun back to the other side because you got to look at the dust cover. So anyways, go ahead, pull the charging handle just like so. It reveals your rotary type of hop up, and look at that, the fake bolt locks back. And if we go ahead and push the bolt release just like a standard M4 bolt release, the fake bolt goes ahead and slides forward. Now the ambidextrous feature, go ahead, pull that back, locks back. Go ahead and push that button right there, right behind the dust cover. Can you guys see that? This button right here. Ready? Watch this. Boom. Oh my god, everything is just so clean and so crisp, so sharp. I don't know what it is, you guys. I think I'm fanboying over this gun. But yeah, so you have ambidextrous mag and bolt releases, and I don't really think I talked about the magazine, but this magazine comes with the gun. It is a 180 round mid-cap magazine. It is not a high cap. You can't wind it. There's no flash mag. It is a mid-cap magazine. Anyways, moving back to the trigger, we have a full metal trigger as well as trigger guard, and I do like how it is actually angled down, as you guys can see. Instead of just being completely straight across, it has a little bit of an angle, just like so. And then above the trigger, look at that right there. Look at that. Look how clean it looks. You have a little bullet with lines going through it. You have a bullet up top and then 3 bullets right there. That is for safe, semi, and full auto. However, the one thing that isn't ambidextrous, what they could have done to make this whole gun ambidextrous is if they made the fire selector switch ambidextrous. That is one thing that I think they should have done. And I only say that because they made basically everything else ambidextrous. Speaking of the fire selector switch though, why don't we go ahead and flip the gun over to the other side. If you guys hear dogs barking, I do apologize about that. But here we go. Here is the fire selector switch. It's the same type of symbols on this side. So you have safe, semi, as well as full auto. And one thing I'd like to clear up, you guys see those 3 bullets? It was the same thing on the other side. One person said in the unboxing video, I'm not trying to call him out or, you know, roast him or anything, he was like, dude, what are you talking about? That is for a 3-round burst. It's 3 bullets for a reason. I can assure you and all of you that it's not 3-round burst, it is indeed full auto. Just wanted to clear that up. Anyways, moving back down towards kind of like the trigger and the trigger guard, I want to talk about just really quickly about the motor grip. So on the very bottom there is your motor height adjustment screw. And just the motor grip itself, I just want to talk about it. It is very comfortable. As you guys know, I have fairly large hands. You know, I have larger hands than the average person. And those standard M4 motor grips, I just don't like them. I always swap them out. They're not terrible, but I obviously don't prefer them. And I love how this comes right out of the box, and it's just so much beefier and just conforms to your hand so much better. And one thing to note, look how flush everything is. This is kind of going back to, you know, the sharpness, the cleanness of the gun. And you know, I pick up on these little things, and I really appreciate how much time they put into this gun and making sure everything is lined up and just making sure everything is perfect. Anyways, so moving down to basically the very last item on the gun here, we have the stock. This is not metal, this is polymer, and this is their new designed retractable stock. All you have to do is push this in just like so, and it comes out, you know, 6 different positions. You can go ahead and adjust it to whatever position you like. And one thing that I'd like to show you guys is look at that right there. We got some more trademarks. Finally, my camera's focusing. But yeah, LT18, and then there's a whole bunch of other numbers. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Not a big deal, but I like how they included that. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the battery compartment space. This is one thing that I really like. Not only is the back over here rubber plated so it really grips into your clothing and your shoulder, is the button up here. That's what you have to push to go ahead and get into your battery compartment space. So push it, and boom, look at this, ready? It just swivels down. You don't even have to take the whole thing off. It just stays there, so you don't have to worry about losing your butt plate. So you're definitely gonna want a nunchuck style battery. So what you gotta do is, you don't want to do that. What I meant to show you is that you just want to pull these off just like so, and as you guys can see, you have 2 slots on both sides of the stock itself. You just go ahead and slide your, you know, battery in there, and then just connect the wires, and then you even have a little bit compartment here to go ahead and fit like a mini lipo if you want. And that's the next thing for this gun. This thing is 100% lipo ready. So this is an 11-1. It's not actually connected, it's just in there because, you know, I didn't want to have to leave it out. But this is what we're going to be using for our shooting test. It's going to be 11-1. It's fully charged, and we'll be getting into that very shortly. Anyways, Anyways, though, just go ahead and push that back on, and then you can just fold these wires up just like so, and then just go ahead and put the top on until that little top piece locks into place. Boom, just like so. Very, very easy. I absolutely love that. Now, usually I would go ahead and flip the gun over to the other side, but guys, I kind of already was going back and forth showing you the ambidextrous mag releases and the bolt release and, you know, the trademarks of the fire selector switch. So you guys basically already saw that, so I'm not going to flip it over to the other side. So what I want to do now is get into the internals. So this gun is actually completely OEM'd by Lonex. So the externals are Lonex as well as the internals. So the gearbox shell is Lonex, the gear set is Lonex. So the internals are super, super beefy. They are complete tanks. You guys know Lonex. They're known for making really, really good internals. And just really quickly, just if you guys are interested, this is a high torque motor. Also, not to mention, if you guys saw that, you know, here, let me just go ahead and open this bad boy back up. That right there is an actual quick change spring feature, and this is legit. This is an actual quick change spring feature. Sometimes when companies say, oh, this gun has a quick change spring feature, yeah, I guess technically it does, but you still have to take the gun apart and get to the gearbox. This, you just got to pop the butt plate off, take an Allen key to it, twist it, the whole thing comes out, the spring guide comes out, you just got to wiggle the gun and boom, your spring comes out, and you can slide any other spring you want in there. So you don't have to take apart the gun at all. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So externals, you guys, you've already seen it. They are absolutely stunning, and the internals, it's a complete tank in there. So again, please use an 11.1 LiPo. So this is a complete package. Remember, this is the 14-inch model. This gun right here, if you wish to have this will run you, remember, $330. Anyways, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the shooting test. These mid caps are crazy. All right, so I think this is actually a pretty sick angle. It's really heavy to hold the gun up in front of the camera like this. But anyways, I'm getting myself a pretty good workout. Anyways, okay, let's go ahead and test it out. Remember, 0.20s, 11.1 LiPo battery. Here we go, shot number one. 385, 387, 389, 388, 388, 388, 388, 388, 387, 385, 389 though. Next shot, 389, 389, 389, 387, and 389. So this thing is freaking consistent as hell. So yeah, for the FPS though, you guys can expect in the mid 380s to around 390 FPS, so right below that 400 FPS mark. So you guys can definitely go ahead and take this outdoors. I definitely wouldn't recommend going ahead and running this indoors, obviously, because it's shooting way too hot. However, remember, this has the quick change spring feature, so if you want to take this indoors, you can obviously go ahead and weaken the spring. All right, hold up. We have the Excratech X3200 here set up. I don't know what happened to the X3300 that I was literally just using about 2 seconds ago. However, it cannot read rate of fire for some reason. It did perfect when it came to FPS and single shots, but as soon as I flipped it to full auto, it just was not reading and it just wasn't working. So I brought this guy out. This guy's kind of broken too. It doesn't read actual FPS, like single shots, the complete opposite. So I think this can read though correctly, you know, rounds per minute. And here you guys can actually see 1042. I'm pretty sure I just like kind of did like a short little burst to test it out, and that's what it read. However, we're gonna do it for real now, so hopefully this thing actually works, and that probably should be a little bit higher. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and test it out. 1054, so it's a little bit higher, but guys, remember, you can't expect a super fast rate of fire with this gun because it is pushing that little fake bolt back, because it is an electric blowback gun. So every time a BB is fired, that bolt has to go back and forward. So really, with any electric blowback gun, you can't expect the rate of fire to be like super crazy. 1044. There we go, 1040. And guys, I don't even know if this is actually accurate now that I think about it. It definitely is over 1,000 rounds per minute. I'm gonna have to do some research on it because this chronograph could even be wrong. Just take a look at that FPS reading right there, 3.3. I swear you guys, I have to buy a new chronograph. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and step back probably around 75 to 80 feet, and we are going to see how accurate this Lancer Tactical ARC really is. Alright guys, so that was at around 75 feet-ish, 80 feet, somewhere around there. It's not, you know, doesn't have to be exact, but it was pretty damn far. And I did go ahead and take the scope off for this accuracy test, so I was using the iron sights. And you guys, I gotta say, from that distance, it's getting kind of hard to see where exactly you're hitting, because back there you can only really start to see like little green specks, so you kind of have an idea. So if this wasn't a shoot and see target, there's no way I would be able to see what exactly I'm shooting. However, guys, look at the size of this target. It's my hand, okay? It's the size of my hand, so if this was a human, no problem whatsoever hitting someone from around 80 feet. And I gotta say, the groupings actually aren't too bad. Most of them are in this general area right here. And again, remember, this is the size of my hand, so it's not like this is a huge grouping, okay? Well, I guess on the target it kind of looks big, but take into consideration the size of the actual target itself. So it's basically like, I don't know, maybe like 4 finger lengths if you put them close together, besides the little few guys down there. But yeah, so overall, very pleased with this gun, especially with the consistency. I don't think I've seen an electric gun be so consistent in terms of FPS and just performance. Now imagine if you go ahead and throw in a type bore barrel, even better. What the? I actually shot the can at an angle and the BB spun inside. Oh, look at that line. You can actually see the line where the BB was traveling inside the can. That's crazy. Oh yeah, we did a number on these things, and this was kind of like a mixture of my, you know, my first spot where I had these cans set up and to this spot. But I kind of put them on these little stick things to keep them in place. They kind of did a good job. But look at that. Ooh, that is just dirty. Shredded this thing up so nicely. Same thing with this one. If I can take it off, there we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And for the last can, which is down here, if I can reach over there. There we go. Just a Coca-Cola can. And looks okay. Definitely did the most damage on these guys right here though. Alright you guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for this video though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Overall, you guys, I am really liking this ARC Lancer Tactical. You guys did one hell of a job, and it was also really refreshing to go ahead and fire a gun that actually has electric recoil, you know, when the fake bolt moves back. I haven't fired a gun that has that feature in a very long time, so it was really nice to go ahead and fire a gun that has that. Overall though, the internals, the externals, everything for this gun is just phenomenal. I'm really liking this gun. So guys, if you are interested in purchasing this gun, I'll have links in the description to a whole bunch of websites that do sell this thing. I'll have all the colors, you know, the tan and the black, or just the black, all the lengths. So all the models will be linked in the description. If you guys are interested in purchasing them, just click the link and buy it if you want. Also, Lancer Tactical, thank you so much for the opportunity for allowing me to review this gun. But yeah, so this video should have been up a long time ago, so I do apologize about that. Anyways though, if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and smack that thumbs up button. If you're new, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. I would greatly appreciate both of those things. Anyways, you guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet, Miley Percocet, rep the set, got a